Good morning, everyone. We are live. At least I believe we are. What's everybody up to? Good morning. Welcome to Homebuilt Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. Hope all of you are doing great. Welcome to a fine Wednesday. Shop talk, all of that fun stuff, hanging out with everybody. I got something weird going on here. Not sure what. Couple of like the comments are open twice for some reason, so I'm trying to fix that real fast. What's everybody up to? How we doing? Welcome to summer. I'm wearing a hoodie, which is weird. Our weather's up and down, roller coastering right now, but I hope everything is going great where you are. Robert's here. Good morning, Robert. Robert says hello, people. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe and healthy. Hopefully also cooler than it is here. Currently 83, feels like 91, 73% humidity. Woo, yeah, we're not that warm right now. I don't know what we are. Maybe we're around 70. We were like 102 a couple of days ago, 101, something like that. And then cold front, of course, a little rain last night, and it's a little cool this morning, but I'll take it. Beats 101. Robert says humidity's kicking my butt. Yeah, thankfully we don't have that. Yesterday was a little bit humid, not too bad, especially for here. Like I like a little bit of humidity. Now, do I like 100% humidity? No. But I grew up on the East Coast. We get the humidity there, and we definitely don't have that out here, and I like it when I can feel it. Paul's here too. Paul says, greetings, everyone. Hope everyone's doing fine today. Paul, we're doing awesome. How about yourself? Hope everything's going well. Robert's melting. Way too humid. Dastardly Dave, what's up? Dave says, sup all, what's going on? Time surfing, left hand Jeff. What's up, time surfing? Left hand. Robert says, hey, Jeff saw the fuel pump replacement this past weekend. Nice. Yeah, got that thing put on. We'll might as well just jump right in, I guess. And yeah, that was the project for this past weekend. I mentioned it last week that I needed to do a little repair to my mower, and yeah, get that fuel pump put on there. That was super easy, really, and it fired right up. I actually, well, as I showed in the video, I thought it was going to crank for a while, and it literally, I mean, instantly fired up. So like that thing picked up fuel straight away and started pumping way better than the old one. So definitely worth taking the time to put that thing on there. That was kind of cool. And again, really pretty easy to do. Hey dude, what's up? Hello from rainy Melbourne. Hey dude, what's going on? Got your umbrella? Oh boy. Paul says, Jeff, is your Patreon still active? The Patreon account is active, but I haven't been doing anything on there. I don't know. I kind of keep going back and forth on the old Patreon. There for a while, I was going to try to push it, but that was probably a couple years ago. But yes, the Patreon is active. The account is, but I don't really do much on there. I'm kind of torn. Like I want to do some stuff on there, but then I don't know. But yes, the account is up. I haven't been in there in quite a long time. Paul says, researching ways to get rid of lawn fleas, or to rid lawn of fleas. Fleas in the lawn? How do you do that? I don't think you'd want to flea spray the lawn. Could you, and this is just an idea, there's this stuff called diatomaceous earth. You ever heard of that stuff? It's kind of hard to say. I wonder if you could sprinkle that in the yard. I don't know if that would hurt other bugs, though. It's supposed to be like some bug killer, preventer or something. I don't know. That's just an idea. I am not a bug person. I have no idea if that would make any difference if you could just sprinkle it out there. It's this white powdery stuff. And it like kills fleas and stuff like that. So I don't know if that would work or not. I don't know. I've never heard of fleas in the lawn. But that, I don't know. Interesting, Paul. I'm not sure. Hopefully somebody else has some suggestions for that. Time Surfing says, I'm pretty lucky with the grass cutting. My yard has some endangered wildflowers. Illegal to cut. I see where you're going with this, and I like it. Paul says, yeah, noticed it wasn't active. Signed up for it, but will leave if you want me to. Well, thank you, Paul. It's up to you. It is up to you. Like I said, the account is active still, and Patreon still does its thing, but I feel bad because I don't go in there and do anything. So I'm not sure. It's up to you, I guess. I've also been thinking about doing channel memberships. I have that option. It's been available through YouTube for a while. I started setting it up. That might be a better way to go. Maybe I should just finish the setup on that and set those up. Like if that's something that you're wanting to do. But I don't know. You guys let me know. The problem I have with Patreon, and it's not their fault. It's not anything against Patreon at all. It's just it is another thing that I have to manage, and there's only so many things that I feel like I can manage. Right, trying to do the YouTube stuff, that in and of itself is a lot. And then you throw like Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all of the different things. I only have the brain capacity to manage so many accounts. It is so hard. If I had somebody that was helping with social media stuff, that would be great. Then they could do that stuff and post, post the things. But it's just me. And I find that that's my struggle, right? Trying to create content for YouTube. That's my main thing. And then, all of the other ones. And I find that poor Patreon ends up being at the bottom of the list. So I feel like maybe YouTube channel memberships would be better if anybody is wanting to sign up for some sort of recurring type thing like Patreon. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions if that's something you guys are interested in. I do have that option. I could probably have the membership set up in like today or tomorrow, really. And I'd almost rather do that than try to manage Patreon. But I don't know. You guys, I'm open to feedback. I'm open to feedback here, and I definitely appreciate it, Paul, especially if you just signed up. That's awesome. But again, I do feel bad running Patreon because I just don't have time to get in there and create content specifically for Patreon, and that's kind of what it's about. What do you think? Would you be open to memberships? You could do the same sort of thing. Time Servant says, Ortho. Robert says, watching a Colin Furs video where he's doing the finishing touches on his tunnel room. I saw one of those not too long ago. That is absolutely ridiculous. It's awesome. Paul says, use that. Oh, you have to treat after each rain. It goes under their exoskeleton, causing it. Okay, so you're familiar with the diatomaceous stuff. It's kind of fun to say once you figure out how to say it. Rick's here. Rick says, hey, Jeff, how you doing? I'm doing okay. Hanging in there. Right on, Rick. Welcome. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. Right on, right on. Paul says, just trying to help you buy coffee. Well, Paul, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you. Speaking of coffee, I finished up all my Father's Day French vanilla. So now we're back to regular old coffee here, which is, I'm not complaining, but the French vanilla is like a treat. Rick says, I'll be a member. Okay, right on. Okay, so that's all I need to know. I will set up, I will finish setting up the YouTube channel memberships today. I got to edit today or tomorrow. Within the next day or two, I'll get the memberships set up and, I'll put out a post or something like that. And I will plan to once it gets set up and rolling, give it a few days, it will be my plan to probably just close out my Patreon account. That way there's no confusion, and we'll just move over to channel memberships. That's totally fine. Likely with channel memberships, that will include a once a month live stream for just channel members as well. It won't affect this live stream whatsoever. And by all means, nobody is obligated to do absolutely anything. But that's just one of the things that I think I might do, just one of the channel member live streams. But I will plan to just get that set up. So just heads up, you'll see a post come out for announcing channel memberships and that sort of thing, and you'll know why. If it's something you're interested in, cool. If not, like I said, no pressure. You're no obligations, but just know that that's where this came from our live here today. Time Servant says, don't use boric acid on your yard. It'll suck the moisture out of the lawn. Oh, yikes. Robert says, we had what we called sand fleas when we lived in North Little Rock. That was back when I was in 5th grade. Not sure if parents did anything about them or not. Huh. Paul says, the Time Surfing, I'm in Texas. There's no moisture in my lawn. You try to water it and it immediately turns to steam. This sounds kind of like here without this extreme temperature. It is so dry here. The only time anything really is nice and green is right about this time of year. And then like our rains pretty much stop and everything turns brown. But right now it's nice and green. Paul says we're having to treat our dogs for fleas almost daily. Wow. Do you have those drops that you put like under their fur coat or whatever? I don't know. I'm not an expert in fleas, but we had them really bad one year when I worked at the farm. And of course, you know, they would come home with you. And we had a really bad problem one year, and it was bad, like getting bit up. You had to use the traps and the flea bombs, and it was disaster. But it wasn't out in the yard. I've never had to deal with them in the yard. Time Servant says SteamYard. I think it's StreamYard. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have the capacity to manage so many different platforms. That's where it gets hard for me. Like I said, to create something new and specific for each individual platform. So I'd rather have it more consolidated. So I'm totally cool with, you know, trying to reduce. I know, all the big names are on all of the things and stuff, but all the big names have people, I think, that help with that sort of stuff. Again, it's just me. It's hard enough to try to just build something every week. Rick says the coffee is on. Woohoo! Right on, Rick. Yeah. Coffee cheers. Yes. Right on. And Donna's here. Donna says, good morning from Vegas. Coffee up. Ooh, I missed it. Coffee up, Donna. Right on. And hello. Good morning from Vegas. Enjoy your Vegas stay. That's awesome. Rick says, as long as I can ask questions. Rick, absolutely. You're always welcome and encouraged to ask questions, whether it's on here or something else. I highly, highly recommend it. Feel free. And even on here, like I said, don't be shy. You got questions? Throw them out there. It is an open conversation, you know, as long as we keep it workshop type, you know, that sort of stuff related. You know, politics? Nope. Not a chance. You know, and that sort of thing. You know, couple of things. Other than that, it is an open conversation. Paul says, yeah, I just want to help you with support. You hit 100K, but Outdoor Boys, you ain't. I know, those dudes, man. Even his leaving YouTube had 16 million views. Yeah, I know. I watched them years ago. Years, Paul. And I don't even know if they had 100K at the time. And last I knew, I hadn't heard anything really from a long time. Apparently I wasn't subscribed, even though I thought I was at one point. And something came up from them not long ago, and I saw they had millions and millions, and I'm like, wow. I don't get it. I don't know how they do it. Robert says, over the last week, I've only had maybe 4 cups of coffee. Just too hot. Had a couple of cups when I ate breakfast at Jimmy's Egg Restaurant when I went shopping in Stillwater yesterday. Nice. It can be super hot, and I still got to have my morning coffee. It's fine. I don't drink it the rest of the day. Even in the winter, I don't drink it, you know. Once I drink my several cups in the morning, I'm pretty much done for the day. And I do that in the summer, winter, doesn't matter. And look who's here, Neptunes! Neptunes, what's up, man? Neptune says, hello, everyone. Finally able to make it right on. Woohoo! What's going on, dude? I hope things been going well. Long time no see. Right on. Time surfing. Frontline. Frontline, in my opinion, doesn't work well. Frontline. Frontline? I don't know what that is. Paul says, tried everything. Found a product on Amazon that's natural. It's a spray, smells okay, and works great. Well, hey, if it works, there you go. I've never heard of that. Of the like treating your yard for fleas. It's interesting. Rick says, every time I go to ask a YouTube creator, it's members only. I'm like, I have a question, but for members only, you know? Oh, I know what you mean, Rick. Yeah. No, if you're on here, this live is 100% open. It's open to anyone, and you are welcome to ask any sort of question. I was just talking about when I launch channel memberships, one of the perks of that will be an additional live stream with just channel members. It doesn't affect this one tiny little bit. This one will always be an open conversation. You're welcome to ask any questions, all of that sort of thing. I was just saying that once memberships are up, that will be one of the perks. There will be probably a monthly stream with all the members at any level. So yeah, you're welcome, Rick, to ask any sort of questions. Don't hesitate. Time Servant says, I was making a joke. Oh, Robert said as well, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah, sometimes, things just whiz right over my head. You know what I'm saying? Neptune says, good to see you again, Jeff. Right on. You too, man. How's everything going? What's everybody working on? Anybody got projects on the workbench? I'll show you mine here in just a minute. Robert says to Paul, I missed the Outdoor Boys. The dad announced a month or so back that he was leaving YouTube. Yep. I think it was like a privacy thing or something, wasn't it? And I can imagine that. I've heard that from several of the larger channels recently, different privacy type things. Donna says, thank you. Right on. Rick says, I'm in Bernie, California. Right on. Rick says, yeah, I know. No politics. Yep. That's the only thing. I just want to try to keep everything sort of related, on topic. You know what I mean? Time Serving. Water's yard turns steam. Yeah, steam. Yeah. Yeah, I really missed that one. All right. Steam yard. I thought you meant StreamYard, like the live streaming thing. Oh boy. Whoosh. Moving right along. Rick says, down the street from Bernie Falls. I think I've heard of that somehow. I don't know why I've heard of that. Time Servant says, frontline flea control for pets. Rick, okay, gotcha. Neptune says, I have some stuff. Why is there a pop-up? I can't read the whole thing. What's going on here? Have some stuff that looks like beach sand that is for use in the yard for fleas. Interesting. Do you know what it's called, Neptunes? Paul's looking for a thing, something, apparently the same sort of stuff. He said he's tried diatomaceous earth, but some sort of sand stuff. Maybe that would work, Paul. I don't know what it is. Maybe Neptunes can get us a name. A side note, Neptunes, I just thought about that. I have been 3D printing stuff like no other. I put everything away. Do you remember, Neptunes, I know you weren't in last week and stuff, but I've been working on all of those models, the 3D prints for the plaques that I did last year. Printer's been running not quite nonstop, but almost every day I'm running one or two of those, plus a few other things that I'm working on. Been 3D printing like a maniac. But I need to pick your brain, and if you don't mind, we can do that right now. If you don't mind, let me know. I got something to bring up. Let's see. Neptune says, doing good. Hope you are as well. Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. Rick says, I'm working on upgrade of my music. Got my MIDI captain and my new Ibanez. Right on. Nice. So everything's working out good. What Ibanez you got? Is that a new one? Or is it one you've had? Paul says, yeah, he quit at 12 million and now he's at 16 million. His channel makes out $1 million a month, so he's set for a while. Yes. Isn't that insane? That is wild. Time Surfing. Rick says, you're gonna learn to play and Rickroll everyone. Neptune says, Oh, darn ads popped up. Oh boy. 3D printing, awesome. Ask away. Right on. Rick says LMAO. Yeah, you don't Rickroll us here. Come on. So Neptunes, I've been 3D printing. I've been trying. There's a product that I'm working on designing myself that is potentially something that I want to offer up for sale. I'm trying to print it. Of course, it prints great in PLA, right? As a mock-up. I thought maybe I would print this thing in ABS, and it's something that it's going to get used. I don't want to give it away just yet. Actually, it seems like I got a handful of things like that. I tried printing it in ABS, and it's about 8 inches long and narrow, right? So it's long and narrow. Well, of course, ABS wants to warp. I'm in a heated enclosure and everything. I've used a brim, really giant brim to try to hold everything to the bed, but it still wants to warp. You got any tips? Any tips on that? I'm thinking I'm just going to order up some PETG and switch to PETG instead of ABS, even though I feel like ABS is kind of the way to go. I just can't get it to stick to the bed. I even tried flipping the thing on end, and it got 3/4 of the way done, and of course popped loose, even with a wide brim. And yeah, so I'm struggling with this ABS, at least for this particular orientation. So I'm open to tips. I do not want to use glue. I will switch filaments before I use any sort of glue on the bed. So I don't know. Rick says, did I lose sound? Or is it on Jeff's end? I don't know. I hope I didn't. My little meter here on the thing still says it's working. Robert says, Outdoor Boys did a guest appearance on the channel Outback Boys just before he quit. The Outback Boys are from down under. Time Surfing says, I hear him fine. Oh, so maybe Rick says he fixed it. Okay, got it. Good. Sam's here. Sam says, can't stop as I'm with family, but towards coffee. Right on, Sam. Thank you and welcome in not well and goodbye. I don't know what to say there. Anyway, right on. I'm glad you could stop by. Thank you for the super chat. Right on. And have fun. Sounds like maybe you're traveling or something. Maybe you're on vacation, or is it a holiday? You call it a holiday? I don't know. Whatever it is you're doing, Sam, be safe and enjoy yourself. And thank you. Rick says, thank you. No problem, Rick. Rick says, oh, it's my end. Oh, good. Neptune says, Vision Minor Nanopolymer adhesive works magic. But it's an adhesive. It's kind of pricey, but it goes a long way. Yeah, I don't want to use an adhesive. I don't know why I'm so hesitant to that. But I am. If I can avoid it, I will. I've done ABS before on this Bamboo Labs machine, and I haven't had a whole lot of issues. But I don't know if it's just because this piece is long and skinny that it wants to warp, and I need it to be flat. So I've got some PETG in my shopping cart from Matter Hackers, not sponsored. I might just order up some PETG and go that route. I don't know. I wish I could just do it in PLA, but I just don't feel PLA strong enough for something that I'm going to potentially be selling if everything goes well. So I just got to play around with some different filaments. I don't know. There's so many out there, but initially I wanted to do ABS because I've got some, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. Anyway, what in the world is on the workbench? Oh, before I jump to that, Neptunes, I'm open to suggestions from anybody, really, as to how I want to do this. Time Surfing asks, how are the plaques coming along? The plaques are coming along good. I still don't have a final count yet. I should get that in July. Of course, these are for a series of horse shows for not ones that I participate in or anything, but for a group. They have a show on the 5th of July, 5th, 6th, I don't remember, but it's coming up in a week or so. After that, then that's like the deadline for the awards, the people that earn the awards. So I should find out after that the total count. But I've got probably 20 or so of the center models done. I've just done a handful kind of each one. And I've got them painted. Next step is going to be to install the heat set inserts and get the antiquing kind of gold color on there. I need to get wood ordered, but I need a rough count, right? I need to know how many of these things that I need to make. So really all I'm working on right now is just printing these models, because that's going to take the longest time. Each one, it seems like, takes 8 to 12 hours at a minimum. Longer, of course, if I, especially for the big ones. I haven't even printed any of those yet. But, just slowly kind of building up inventory of things. I've already got all of the inserts. I've got the hardware on hand. I have gone and picked up some finish. I got to get some more. I've picked up several units of paint. So you're just gathering up all of the stuff. So we're slowly moving along on that. Neptune says, I haven't done ABS because my printer is not enclosed. Yeah, so if you haven't done much, like on the X1, it seems to work. It seems to work really good. Maybe I need to order up some actual bamboo ABS. No, I have some bamboo ABS. I haven't put it in yet. Maybe I should try that. I wonder if that works any different than the stuff that I've been using. Yeah, I should try that. Paul says, I had a friend give me about 300 board foot of butternut wood. Interesting character. Been making bodies out of it. Nice. Butternut. I haven't used butternut in a long time. Time Servant says, I bet those look great. Paul says they have their very nice pattern. Yeah, butternut's pretty cool. Albert says, some people call it blonde walnut. Interesting. Rick says, I wonder how long it takes to 3D print a single coil pickup cover. Honestly, it would probably take less than an hour. It would be my guess. Maybe an hour at the most. But probably not that long, at least on the machine that I have right now. Of course, it's going to depend on if you do multicolor or that sort of thing. But honestly, I don't think it would take very long. Time Servant says, are you selling them, Paul? And I'm going to answer for you, Paul, and say, yes, you are, I would imagine. If you're not, I stand corrected, but I'll bet he is, Time Surfing. Paul can confirm, but. So what the heck have I been working on? Well, I got something you guys had sort of asked for, and I just finished it up yesterday. I made a frame. Why is this thing better? I made a frame for the plaque. Look, it's all dusty already. I've already got it all crusted up. I think it actually turned out really good. So this is going to be the video for not this weekend, but next weekend, making this guy. That way we can get it hung up. In fact, let's hang it up right now. This is pallet wood. I didn't have any more really of this gray barn wood, but this stuff's pallet wood. A couple pallets that have been sitting out in the weather. And yeah, knocked together this frame. Super, pretty simple build. Why is it not following me? Well, it doesn't have to. You can still see what's going on. So I've already got a screw that I put up there. Hopefully it's in a good spot. What do you think? Is it going to work there? Hey, look, there's like the mirror on there. I could like shave in that. Why is the camera not following me? Follow me around, will you? Here we go. Yeah, I think it's cool. Again, like I think I mentioned last week, wasn't, or maybe not. Maybe that was in the video. You guys asked for a frame and hang it up there. That's where it is, at least for now. So let me know what you think. I think it's kind of cool there. It matches with the old sign pretty good. Kind of like it. So I want to say thank you to those of you that suggested that I build a frame, for it and hang it up. I was gonna hang it up, somewhere, and not really make a big deal out of it, but by request from you for a frame. So that's what we did. That's the video I'm working on right now, and that'll be out, like I said, not this weekend, but next weekend. Let's see. There you go. Paul says yes, he is selling them. So if anybody wants a butternut guitar body, hit up Paul. He'll hook it up. Neptune says, Kira has a setting to make a shield. Functional Print Friday YouTube channel had issues like that. Don't remember what caused it. I'll look and email you a link. Right on. So Neptunes, I have used that shield, the draft shield, they call it. I've used it on my Ender 3, and it actually, they were smaller prints, and it worked fine, right? It prints this tiny shield. I mean, it's like a one, maybe it's 2 layers thick, 2 filament widths. I don't know what you call it. It's this really paper thin thing, and then your deal prints in the center. It works really good. I have done that. I don't know if it would work for this. One, because the printer's enclosed and it's giant. I don't know. It's just, it takes 3 or 4 hours to print this thing that I'm trying to print. No, it was almost 3 hours. And I just think temperature-wise, it's warping. I don't know if I need to maybe I tried raising the bed temp and it still warped. Maybe I need to lower the bed temp. I don't know. But yes, I have used the draft shield, and I can confirm that it does work. I have printed ABS on my Ender 3, small things, okay? Not big, not this piece that I'm working on right now. And it did work. Paul says, looks great. Right on. Neptune says, woohoo, looks awesome. Congrats. Thank you. Time Surfing says, looks good. Rick, that's awesome. Time Surfing, awesome. Arbor says, it works, Jeff. Right on. Neptune says, that's awesome. I made it here and saw the play button. Yep, there it is, my friend. There it is. Donna says, looks great. Paul says, now Jeff's just like the rest of those 100K YouTube people. Hey, I got 13 subs on my channel. Wait, I'm not sure how to take that, Paul. I know you're just giving me a hard time. But hey, it's only there because I was going to put it up there where it's visible, but not quite a big deal. But now that's front and center. I mean, well, a lot of times I'm going to be standing in front of it, but you get the idea. It is there because you requested it. You requested a frame and all that sort of thing. So, bam, there it is. Let's see. Adana says, looks great. Time Servant says, just crossed 50 subs, not really trying to be a YouTuber. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I want to say, everybody go subscribe to everyone, right? If you guys aren't subscribed to Time Surfing and to Paul's channel, everybody that's got one, just, even if they're not trying to do a thing, right? Just support each other, right? That's kind of what we're doing. Harry Dude says, looks good, dude. Right on. Thanks, Harry Dude. And what are you working on today, Harry Dude? Are you still unpacking from the move? Hopefully you got everything sorted out there. Robert says to Paul, I think I have 2 subscribers. Never posted anything. Paul says, no, I think it looks great there. Just messing with you. Right on. Donna says, always support. 100%. Yeah. Like I said, some people, are just kind of got a channel. They have a channel, and go subscribe. Even if they don't post anything, it's fine. It's like we gotta, build each other up. I gotta go through and make sure I'm subscribed to everybody. Neptune says, I want to say FPF's issue was a draft inside the machine. New Bamboo H2D. Ah, gotcha. Maybe that's what mine is. Maybe I need to check the fans or something. All the cooling is off for the first couple layers. I wonder if I should just turn it off altogether. Do you think it's a bad idea? Turn off cooling for the entire print? Seems like it'd get mighty hot, but maybe not. Robert says, I only have a channel because the GGBO competition required it. Also have Instagram, 550 subs on it. Yeah, that GGBO, whatever happened to that? Did that just die out? Like everybody kind of got frustrated with the way it was judged and all that sort of thing? Or is it still a thing? I've not looked. But I also haven't heard a single thing about it. Like, it was cool, I think, at first. And then it just got, I don't know. It just got too commercial. It's like, I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, that being said, so I just finished this up yesterday, working on editing the video over here on the bench. Come on, camera, follow me. I've been tearing apart some pallets for, this is not for a project I'm doing, but just to get some boards This also are going to go to the organization that I make the plaques for, but they just need some boards to build something on their own. I'm not even doing the building, but just been going through tearing apart pallets so they can have some boards to do their thing with. These are, I think, ready to go. I don't know. I'm not doing anything here, like I said, other than tearing them apart. So I think there's enough here. Got to get that cleaned up because I need my workbench back. Rick says, a subscriber for many years. I lost count. Yes, I know, Rick. And thank you. Robert says, the only reason I get a channel, YouTube allows me to make comments on other channels. Oh, yeah. Here, dude says, unpacking is a dirty word. Fair enough. Says, I'm over it. Still some things to unpack and stash away. Just needed to get on with life. Hey, I don't blame you for that. Don't blame you at all. It's like once you get enough stuff out of there that, you don't really need it. And you know what's weird is now that I think about that, I have a box or two stashed away that I brought out here when I moved a long time ago. And it's just stuff, it's not stuff that you use. It's just like maybe a couple of little trinkets and knickknacks and stuff when you were a kid or a teenager that you just kind of don't want to get rid of. And that's what I have. I've opened the box to look in there, but it's not something I'm unpacking. It's not something I'm going to pull out of there. It's just weird how there's some things that we hang on to. Paul says, I think it did. They weren't running it very well. I entered twice, withdrew the first time because of how it was run. Next year, kicked out my entry because I had complained. Yeah, I remember something like that. Time Servant says, hey, Paul, just got one more sub. Right on. Yeah, I remember there was issues, right? There was just a weird deal. Like, I thought it was a cool idea. I really think it was a great idea, especially at that time, when the world was kind of strange. Remember that? I think it was cool, right? And a lot of people needed something to do because a lot of things were closed down, that sort of thing. But yeah, it just wasn't run great. I think they tried to do a really good thing. And I'm not knocking anybody whatsoever. It just didn't pan out like I probably well hoped. So anyway, what's next? What's next on the workbench? Well, I am not 100% sure, to be quite honest. I have a draw knife that I just sharpened up, and it's actually quite sharp. And I was going to put it away, and I realized I don't have a sheath for it, any way to protect this sharpened knife. So I think one of the next projects, if not the next project, is to make some sort of leather sheath. And maybe that will be the next thing I start on. Because I want to be able to put this in my toolbox drawer and not mess the blade up. So I know that is something that I need to work on. Be coming up, doing some leather projects. I haven't done any leather work in quite a while, so maybe a little something like this. I don't think it's going to be too hard or all that involved, but I think it's something that needs to be done. So I got that. Did I talk about the raft that I want to make with my daughter over this summer? I think I did, but I want to build an actual raft with blue plastic barrels. I think I did mention that. Oh yeah, I did. I think last week. So I want to work on that. I got to get started on that at some point. I'm trying to work out, because I talked about working out the weight rating. I think I need at least one more barrel in order to make it work. I don't know. That's another project I got to get working on. Paul says, thanks, Time Surfing. Robert says, for me personally, I don't think the pop-up ads that run should not be allowed during live streams. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, Robert. Another project I have coming up. Remember a couple weeks ago when I had all the weed trimmers, the strimmers as Sam calls them? One of those I think is going to be coming back. So I got both of those things running. This is so weird. Of course, this is how it works. I got both of them running. One of them is one of the newer 4-stroke engines, and one is a 2-stroke. I got the 2-stroke running really good, and then it burned a tank of gas through it around here. And then I got the 4-stroke running, and I burned a tank and a half of fuel, 2 tanks, maybe even. And it ran fine. I took them back, and the 4-stroke one, it will not run worth a hoot. So I'm going to be bringing that back up here, doing some work on that. And that one I think I will make into a video because I'm probably going to be changing out the carburetor on that one. I don't know what else could be wrong. I don't know why it worked fine when I had it here, and now it doesn't. But anyway, that's going to be coming back. That's going to be another project I got to get to as well. Dastardly Dave says, didn't Texas Toast win the first one? Yes, I believe so. They made like a triple neck or something, the very first one. I did not enter the first one. I entered the second and the third one, I believe it was. Paul says, yeah, I think they did. Dave says the guitar has been brought back and given to Texas Toast. Oh, really? Back to Texas Toast. Interesting. Yeah, I think it has like 3 necks. Time Servant says, seen some guys make a party barge using blue barrels. Yes, that's what I want to do. Not a huge barge. My initial thought was to cut these in half, right? So I have 2 already. To cut them in half, flip them over, and then just build like a 2x4, 2x6 frame around them. But I keep thinking about that, and I think that would work, but it might sit low in the water because it's got to sit low enough to where you get that displacement. That's why I'm thinking maybe I need another barrel. I don't want it to sit way high. That's the problem. Like I don't want to have 4. I think 4 barrels would float. Well, I know 4 barrels would float it. I'm just trying to figure out how to get it to float at the right height. I want it to float just above the height of the framework. So I'm thinking I might need to. It's gonna be an experiment. I think I'm gonna have to build a frame and basically put the barrels under it. I don't know how to calculate all of that. That's a lot of science. But yeah, that's what I want to do. Blue barrels, wooden framework around it, and I want it to, like I said, I want it to float. Like if I do a 2x4 framework and then covered with plywood, I want that 2x4 to be just a couple inches up out of the water so that it's not constantly sitting in the water. Basically, when you're floating on it. Or maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe when you're not floating on it, because that's going to be the majority of the time. I don't know, but that's what I want to do. Paul says, Dashley Dave, I normally build tellies using templates. I did that guitar by hand, no templates, hand carved. The thing plays and sounds awesome. It's a metal rock style guitar. Dave says, that's is cool. Have to look up the guitar. Time Servant says, what kind of body styles are you making? These guys use whole blue barrels, about 10. Wow, 10 of them. I have 2. Maybe I should just try it with the whole barrel before cutting it down, because once it's cut down, you can't put it back. Then I'd have to get 2 more. I think all I need is 4, 1 at each corner, and I'm only talking like 8x8 kind of thing, maybe 8x10, 10x10. Not a super big one. Probably 8. 8x8, 8x10 kind of thing. 2 sheets of plywood, enough for a couple people to go float on and have fun in our little pond. Neptune says you can always add water to the barrels to get the right level. Good point. Yeah, maybe I should leave them intact. If it sits too high, yeah, you just open the drain, let some water in, sink it. It's not going to rust anything because it's plastic. I need 2 more of those blue barrels. Robert says if you use a full barrel, you can put some water. Yeah, put some water. See, look, I'm not thinking. Yeah, you just adjust it. That's a better idea. Better idea. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to fill each one probably half full of water to get it to float where I want. Because it's not, like I said, it's not going to be this giant thing, and I don't want to be 2-3 feet out of the water. But yeah, you just flood the barrel. I knew that. I was seeing if you guys knew that. Yeah. Paul says, I make tellies and basses by template and freehand if customer wants. Yeah, Time Surfing, go check it out. Waldrop Guitars. Yeah, super cool. I gotta start. I kind of keeping an eye out. I got a couple guitar repairs coming in. The guy's gonna be dropping them off right about the time we're done here. I told him I'm busy until 10. I don't know if he's gonna get here early. So if I end up having to wrap up a couple minutes early, just heads up. But he can wait a couple minutes if he gets here early. Yeah, got a few repairs. So nothing big. One's literally like just a checkup, really, and the other one's some electronic issue on a Strat. So let's kind of go through that. I like to have a little something to work on outside of the shop, and repairs here and there is kind of a nice thing to have. So yeah, so the blue barrel thing. Yeah, like I said, I knew that. I knew you could just put water in there, just loosen the valve. It's fine. I do want to get started on that. It just sounds fun. I think it'd be awesome. What if you put a trolling motor on it? How cool would that be? Maybe have a little hatch with a battery down in there. Trolling motor, buzz around the pond. That would be a riot. I told my daughter that if we build this, I want to spend the night on it. And she's like, are you kidding me? I don't want to fall off into the pond while I'm in my sleeping bag. Like, you wouldn't. We could make a rail. Robert says it's called ballast. Yeah, ballast would work great. Paul says, I'm rewiring a Gretsch for a coworker right now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this Strat. The guy told me that one day you'll plug it in and it'll work. The next day you'll plug it in and it won't. I'm going to guess that a wire is kind of flaky on the jack. That's my prediction, but I don't know that. So I told him I'd take a look at it and see what we can figure out. Hopefully it's something simple. I've been trying to do a little bit more repairs lately on some guitars. And if I get something cool in, that might make a good video. I'm not doing like, restorations, refrets, that sort of thing. But if I get something cool in, I might make some videos for the Haley Guitars channel. I'm not really sure. Something I've been thinking about. But yeah, I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, the wiring. Oh yeah, that I was going to make videos. See, whoosh. Anyway. Oh, let's see. The Gretsch is cool. I used to work with a guy who had a legit, original, one of the early country gentlemen's. It was super cool. Sounded amazing. He was a Chet Atkins kind of guitar player. Man, what a great fingerstyle player. It was awesome to listen to. Time surfing. Old sailing ships used rocks. Hey, you use whatever, right? I watch once in a while. Some videos will pop up of a guy with a channel who he works on. The big tank. He works on ships like the tanker ships and cargo ships and all that sort of thing. And he'll do some vlogs about that. And he's a lot of times talking about the ballast and stuff. I never really thought about how much ballast they have to add, right, for those big containers when they're offloading the containers, right? They got to adjust the ballast so that the weight comes off the top of the ship, and the ballast tanks and everything has to counteract everything. And it's a lot more involved than I would have thought at first thought, but it makes complete sense. Neptune says, time surfing. I have rocks in my head. I guess that's why I go head down when swimming. It's ballast, Neptune's ballast. It's funny. That's awesome. Just trying to keep an eye out. Hopefully it'll be a couple minutes late. It's fine, but I should have told him 10:15. Anybody have plans for the rest of the week? You guys got projects you want to start tackling? I might start on this, working on that leather. Like I said, I also need to get this video edited and these guitars fixed up for the guy. I don't know when. Hopefully he doesn't need them back right away. But that's kind of something that I found myself doing with repairs, right? The local gigging guy or gal, or local gigging musician who has got a gig. I got a gig on Friday. Can't find anybody to get this thing done. I'll give it a shot. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do. Help out the local gigging people. Hopefully this guy doesn't need it back right away, because I don't have a lot of time. I know the strings that he wants on one of them I don't even have, so I got to make a trip to town. But yeah, I don't know. Got that to do. Got editing to do. Got to get started on this. Got to locate some blue barrels. But what do you guys have? What's on your agenda? Maybe you're going on vacation. Maybe you're just looking for some downtime. I don't know, but I'd like to know. I'd like to hear about it. That time surfing. That's why pirates had eye patches. They kept an eye out. Arr! Dun-dum. Robert says, have you seen or heard the sound of one of the B&G Little Sister guitars? I have not even heard of that. No, I'll have to look it up. Neptune says, I need to move the household items in the shop to the garage and the workshop tools and stuff from the garage to the shop. Nice. Yeah. A little bit of organization, getting things set up. This sounds cool. Rick says, I want to get my older Ibanez fixed. The post for the Floyd Rose shifted forwards. Oh, so you're going to have to probably plug that hole. Plug and re-drill or shim it anyway. Yeah, that shouldn't be bad, Rick. I mean, you could probably do it yourself if you're careful. Wouldn't be a hard fix. So yeah, the wood wears out, right? On those wears out like you're, using it a lot, but I know exactly what you're talking about. The post gets loose, rocks forward. You could shim it, or you could plug and re-drill. Depends on who you ask. Time Servant says they aren't blue, but car washes have white plastic barrels. I picked them up for free. Really? We got a car wash local. I might have to go ask them if they have any. Are they like soap drums or something like that? It doesn't have to be blue. Just the two that are here are blue, and I wouldn't kind of want them to match, but it doesn't have to, I guess. Rick says I did that, no luck. Oh boy. Did you try shimming it or did you plug and re-drill? Make sure you use hardwood if you do that, and do the same orientation. If you make a plug, right? So a lot of people. I'm just using this piece for an example, right? So the grain's running this way. Can't tell what this is exactly. A lot of people will cut the plug from a piece of wood like this. Where am I going with this? Oh, dowel. A dowel is typically made with grain running this way. So when you glue it in, it's basically end grain. You're gluing in an end grain dowel if you buy one from the hardware store. What I was trying to get at is if you cut your own, you can cut it with the grain direction matching. You might get better results. I've not ever had to plug a Floyd Rose. I've seen tons of them done. But I'm wondering if that might make a difference, whether you're using an end grain dowel or, which is cut from this direction, or you cut your own, which would be matching the body grain direction. I don't know, just a thought. It may or may not help you. Hairdo says, I get those repairs too. Got to keep some spares on hand for it and keep the popular sets of strings on hand. Yes, I have quite a few sets of strings on hand. But this one, in fact, I did a guitar for this guy a couple weeks ago. The same kind of thing. Got a gig. I can't find anybody. Okay, I'll hook it up. We'll get it done. I should have bought more than one set. Once I'd figured out what he used. And now that, this is the second time he's come back with more repairs, now I feel fairly comfortable keeping his strings in stock. So I think that's what I'll do when I need to run to town, get some of these strings. I'll get a few pairs for sure and make sure that I always have them on hand. If it's something he doesn't need, I'll just order them. Because I really don't like making an extra trip to town, but seems like he's gonna be a return customer, so I'll keep his on hand. Time Servant says they came with soap. Rick says I think I gotta route it out and reglue new wood. Gotcha. Yeah, Harry Dude says, glue some veneer in the hole and press the post back in. That's what I was thinking. Get a piece of, some really thin wood veneer and, put a little glue, and you can kind of mash that in the hole. Maybe you could even use the post to press that veneer in. So you get the veneer into place and use the post to kind of as the clamp. That's the thought that I'm having right now. You cut you a little thin strip, glue it, post as the clamp to hold it in place, let it dry. Maybe, I don't know if you need to sand a teeny bit at the top. Rick says, thanks, Harry Dude. Rick, okay, I'll give it a try. Will the veneer be strong enough? Rick, I think so. I mean, the wood. What am I trying to say? How am I trying to say it? Your goal is to just make the hole smaller, right? I've seen people do stuff like that with like even aluminium foil. Harry Dude. Maybe not for a Floyd Rose, but for different applications. The goal is to make the hole smaller so that the post fits tight. And I think gluing in the veneer, I think that would accomplish it. Again, I personally have not done that. I would imagine Harry Dude has. He does a lot more repairs than I do. But I don't see why it wouldn't. Time Servant says, I've used Teflon tape. I don't see why you couldn't use that either. I would rather have wood. But in a pinch, absolutely. Teflon tape would, get you through the gig or whatever you needed to do. Like I said, the goal is to just make the hole a little bit smaller. So it looks like this guy's going to be pretty well on time. So we're in good shape. Rick says, I'll keep working at it. Yeah, see, there you go. And worst case is, you end up re-drilling. Oh, he's on his way right now. I just got a message. So we got time to officially finish this up. So I don't have to cut things short. That's cool. So you can get it, Rick. I'm sure you can. Worst case, like I said, you route it out and you glue in a new piece, drill new holes, all the whole thing. But I think you can get it. Heritage says, I've used veneer in the post holes when I was able to pull the post out by hand. I glued in a half circle of veneer, pressed the post back in. There you go, Rick. Try that. Just enough for, like Harry Dude said, for half the hole. I would probably put it at the front, wouldn't you, Harry Dude? Put it at the front. That way it's supporting that front edge of the post where it wants to lean forward, not at the back. Maybe it's still, I think I would put it at the front. So you cut you a little half circle, you shove the post back in with some glue, bam. Here Dude asks, Rick, Here Dude's got a question. Says, is the post leaned forward or does it just come loose? Yeah, if it's leaned forward, that might make a difference. I don't know. I gotta message this guy back real quick. If it'll load. Maybe it won't load. Go. Okay. So yeah. Oh, Rick says it leans forward. Oh, it might be a little more, Harry Dude. What do you think? I'm not sure. I've not had one do that. Paul says, gotta go, everyone. Have a great week. I have 3 guitars with a Floyd Rose. Granted, I don't play them too much these days, but when I was gigging, most of the time I was playing with 2 of the 3, and they've got lots and lots and lots of hours on them, and I've not had them come apart. Here it says, in that case, drill out larger and glue in a plug. Re-drill the post hole. Yeah, if it's leaning forward, that's probably. I do agree with that. Good thinking, Harry Dude. I didn't think to ask that. Neptunes says, "Oh, you too, Paul." Right on, Paul. Take care. Cool. Right on, Neptunes. How's everything your way? Everything going good? Rick says, thanks, Harry Dude. Right on. Rick, that's why we're here. We want to try to help. Yeah, you can just drill it out, find you a plug, a dowel or something like that. Make a dowel, make a plug, drill it out, glue that in, re-drill, should be good. Yeah, I would use a nice hard and dense wood. Don't use something soft. Don't use a poplar. I would use a nice I'm not saying you can't use poplar. I mean, guitar bodies are made out of poplar, but just use something solid. Don't use any sort of softwood dowel or something like that. Just make sure it's a good hardwood dowel if that's what you're using. Should be fine. Neptune says, I miss coming to the lives. Neptunes, we miss having you at the lives. I know that darn work always, it's got to get in the way. But I'm glad you're here today. Rick says, I'll use oak if I have to. Yeah. Robert says, that was weird. I was trying to type something, got a message that my tab crashed, and clicked the reload to get back to the stream. I have had that happen before, too. Their browser, your tab has crashed. What? How does one tab crash? I usually have like 500 tabs open at once. How does one of those 500 crash? Not really 500, but I have a lot. Time surfing. Gotta go pay bills. Used to pay online, but wife's phone got some malware. Now I have to pay in person with cash. Well, darn it. Sorry about that. I try to do all of that stuff online if I can. So, yeah. Just because I don't like going anywhere. Anyway, well, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up anyway. Like I said, I got a customer coming here shortly. He's on his way right now. Got to get to editing, get to doing a bunch of stuff, and then run to town to get strings. Should have had him bring his own strings. He's probably going right by the store that I'm going to drive back into town to get to anyway. Oh, well, that's the deal. That's why we do it here. Anyway, you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Robert says, time surfing, best to you. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's Wednesday Live here at Homebuilt Workshop. Appreciate you guys hanging out for the morning. And again, be on the lookout for the channel memberships. That'll be coming up. We'll try to get that launched here today or tomorrow, that sort of thing. And yeah, glad everybody's here. Neptunes says, take care. Good to see you all. And Jeff, right on. Thank you, Neptunes. Glad you could make it as well. So I'm going to get out of here. We're going to wrap this up. You guys stay warm. If it's heat wave, hey, dude, stay cool. No, wait. Stay cool if it's warm. I got that backwards. Hey, dude, stay warm in the cold. But anyway, you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Time to go. So be on the lookout this weekend. Project video coming out Saturday morning. Next Saturday morning, bam. Where is it? There it is. Frame video. So take care, everyone. You guys are awesome. Oh, Rick says, you guys are awesome. Bertie Ernie says, I made it. The last seconds. Right on. Yes, we're just getting out of here. Hope you're doing good. Right on. Rick says, thanks for all the tips. Robert says, everyone stay safe and healthy. Rick says, have a great day, Jeff and chat. Right on, everybody. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. You guys stay safe. Stay well. We'll talk to you next week. Same time, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. I'll see you guys later. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Oh, where'd my button go? I actually lost the button. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Take care. And yes, your stream will end.